What's up, sports bettors? We have 10 MLB games tomorrow, and I have no idea why so many games are starting this early in the morning. But regardless, we are going to be looking for the best bets. So the best bets for Thursday, June 23rd. And as always, the tool I like to start out on is the Positive EV betting tool. So the Positive EV betting tool is a really useful tool on OddsJam because it will show you line discrepancies. It will show you data-driven sports bets. So there's a little quick start wizard, stuff like that here if you want to learn more about the math behind Positive EV betting and how you are guaranteed to make money in the long run. But essentially, these are bets where the edge is weighted in your favor as a sports bettor. So OddsJam is constantly scanning all these lines, first half, inning props, player props, really anything you could possibly want to bet on, any sport, to try to find you the best bets available in your location. So let's start out with the Athletics-Mariners game. This is currently the top profit margin bet on OddsJam, and the edge is insanely high, 7.98% profit margin. You can see it's on the top row, so if you scroll over, the bet in bold that we want to go with is yes run first inning, or over half of a total run in the first inning of the Athletics-Mariners game. So what I like to do next is just click in to the sportsbook, market and see if we're really dealing with a true pricing discrepancy. First inning total runs, game is at noon. Over half of a total run, so the yes run first inning, as this is called, under half of a run is a nerfy bet, a no runs first inning. And we can see it's pretty clear, right? FanDuel is giving us pretty ridiculous value on the yes run first inning at plus 128 odds, right? Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker, most efficient betting market in the world, they're only giving us plus 103. DraftKings and Caesars plus 105 and plus 110. So it looks like FanDuel really is the clear outlier, which is what we want to be on as a sports bettor. So before this fantastic line moves, I'm going to move quickly, try to get my bet in. So you go to innings, and then you go to yes run first inning, over half of a total run, and this bet is the bet we want to lock in. So you can see FanDuel is like, yep, you've made too much money off us. We'll give you a max wager, a $46.90. Which happens in sports betting, right? It's why nobody wants to bet on sports full time. It's it's a profitable side hustle. But of course, this is one of the reasons why, nobody really wants to bet on sports full time. Bookmakers can lower your betting limits at any time. So $46.90 to win 60. And what we can do is we can add this bet to my sheet. So $46.90, I believe the profit margin was 7.98%. So essentially, you take this EV percentage, you multiply it by your stake, and you will see your profit margin in dollars. So for the Mariners-A's game, our bet has $3.74 in profit margin, right? It's not the type of bet that, you're retiring off of, but you place a bunch of positive EV bets on a daily basis, you're essentially forming your own hedge fund, right, of mathematically profitable bets. And, not every bet's going to win. Not every bet's going to win or lose, but over the course of the long run, you will make money because you have the edge over the sports books. And it should be pretty clear, this plus 128 is incredible value, right? For anything you want to bet, OddsJam will show you in green the best odds, right? It'll highlight that for any given bet, right? So if you wanted to bet on over 1.5 runs, the best line is on FanDuel as well, plus 330. So first bet locked in. Unfortunately, very low betting limit. And then if we go down to the next kind of lower profit margin bet, 2.95%. So first, let me go ahead and add this bet to my bet tracker. So we'll go ahead, I'll add this bet to my bet tracker. You can see a green check mark shows up. This is just a little Kelly calculator, which is often pretty useful for bankroll management, as a sports bettor. So we can very briefly talk about the bet tracker on OddsJam. So it's a pretty cool feature because not only will it show you your profit and loss as a sports bettor and your ROI, but it will show you how often you're beating the closing line, right? If you're placing bets and they all have an EV percentage of, 4%, then over the course of the long run, your ROI will be 4%. There will be some variance. You'll have, down swings, maybe some down weeks, and you'll have up weeks. But because you have the edge, you'll make money in the long run. So what I like to do, because this CLV thing is so important and beating the closing line is so critical as a sports bettor, is I like to go through, on a daily basis and just make sure I'm beating the closing line in the majority of my bets. Lines can always move, players can get injured. You're not always going to beat the closing line, but beating the market over 50% of the time, beating CLV over 50% of the time is really what matters as a sports bettor, and the number, I like to track as a sports bettor. So we locked in one bet, which is great. And the second bet we're going to go with is, where is it? Let's go back here. Is yes run first inning in Padres Phillies. So another line discrepancy in the prop betting market as sportsbooks start to release early odds for Thursday. So if we go down to the Padres game, what we actually have to do is click on more MLB because it's getting blocked off, trying to move quickly to make sure this great line doesn't move. Because the sports betting market is dynamic, these lines can always move, and they're going to give us 53.60 on this. So boom, lock it in, add it to your bet tracker. Second mathematically profitable bet placed, 53.60, 2.95% profit margin, top row, scroll over, look for the bet with the circle in bold, hit it, you're good to go. 2.95% profit margin, and our stake on this bad boy was 53.60. So 53.60. And then this is yes run first inning, Padres Phillies. So two bets, one slightly higher profit margin. Both were limited on FanDuel. Total profit margin of our two bets is 532 so far. Data-driven sports betting, finding value in the odds, right? Because really all that matters long term is finding value. It's beating the market, right? At OddsJam, we're not claiming we know any coaches, we got any inside information about the lock of the day. That's not what sports betting's about. We don't know the parlay that's going to get you to be a millionaire overnight, right? It's data-driven sports betting, because if you're consistently finding value as a sports bettor, you'll make money in the long run. And an example I like to give is if you go 50 and 50 with a $250 unit size betting at plus 105, you would be up 625 in profit, right? You can run through the math. If you go 50 and 50 betting at minus 105 odds, you would be down $600 in profit. So if you're ready to get serious, really serious about your sports betting, you have to be finding value, because if you're getting terrible prices, if you're placing bets at plus 125 on Action 24/7 when another sportsbook in your state is giving you plus 140, you're doomed from the start. You need multiple sportsbooks. You need to be line shopping. You need to be hunting for value as a sports bettor, and the OddsJam Positive EV tool does that for you. So the final bet we want to go with is Braves minus 1.5. Plus 140 on Caesars. Super tight market with only 14 cents, which means that Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, right, they're very confident in their lines because they're setting such a tight market with not much vig, not much spread, juice baked into it. So when you remove the juice, the fair line, the true odds from Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, is going to be plus 134.76. We're getting plus 140 on Caesars, so this bet is positive EV. You can see this time it's on the bottom row. You want to place the bet on the bottom row. So we'll go over to Caesars, and then this is the final bet. We're going to lock in for June 23rd, and we'll hammer it, because why not? I need a baseball bet that's above $50. So Caesars is going to go ahead and take it, suck it up, and now we have our third bet. So this is Braves on the run line, which I do like for tomorrow as well. So try to tail that one, and then I'll go ahead and I'll add this to my bet tracker. Braves minus 1.5 on the run line, 2.23% profit margin. So of course it's the lowest profit margin on a percentage basis, 2.23%, but also the tightest market width, and we were able to stake the most. So our EV, or the profit margin in dollars, is going to be the highest. So $27 in total profit margin on our three bets, forming our own little hedge fund of mathematically profitable sports bets. There's one on the Phillies, but a little lower EV, below 2%, not as attractive. So we'll go ahead and refresh. And again, we can click in, just kind of as another example, right? If you go to a no vig fair odds calculator, what this calculator does, right, is it takes a sportsbook's market and removes the vig, or removes the juice, to tell you what the true price is based on a sportsbook's market. Right? Sportsbooks, they're taking all millions of dollars of bets on this game. Pinnacle, the sharpest, most efficient betting market, they're taking the most betting volume, and they're constantly adjusting these odds based on where the money's coming in. So the fact that Pinnacle is all the way down at plus 103 indicates to us that, yeah, being able to get, plus 128 on FanDuel is a pretty incredible bet, right? If you remove the juice from their market, the win probability of our bet is 47.36%. and the fair line would be plus 111, right? And we got this plus 128. So really good value on FanDuel. And you can do the same thing with Caesars market, right? If you want to see what Caesars thinks is the true odds, you can put in their market. They had plus 110 on the yes run first inning, minus 140 on the no runs first inning. So they're pricing the true line at plus 122. Again, we're getting plus 128 on FanDuel. We're beating the fair odds, the true odds, the no vig line, whatever you want to call it, from Caesars model. We're getting plus 128. So we're beating, the fair lines from Caesars and Pinnacle. So that gives us really high conviction that this is a bet we want to be on. So anyways, we can check out the middle tool, see if there's any other, bets for us. Doesn't look like it. So we'll call it a day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's make some frickin' money.